Hello, everyone. I wanted to record a quick disclaimer about the following episodes. I'm probably going to use the same disclaimer for every episode, so let's just hit everything all at once while we can. So, in these episodes, I go a little hard into some of the dark stuff that has existed in my life, and this includes things like my child abuse. Specifically, I tell a story that is not particularly graphic, but may be hard for some people to hear about the kind of abuse I experienced as a child. At one point, I will discuss suicidal tendencies. At some point, I discuss a girl at my work who seems to have been verbally abused by her partner or ex-partner. And so I just wanted to give a disclaimer and say that some of the discussion in these episodes is going to be quite heavy. I know that some people are triggered by those sort of things. I know that it can be hard for some people to process. This is not what I want my content to be for the most part. I got some feedback from people saying like, oh, it's okay to talk about this stuff. It's okay to feel those things. And I overcompensated. I went a little hard in that direction. This is not going to be most of my videos. However, because I batch record, I have the next 4 or so episodes are going to be quite, I don't know a good word for it, bleak, I guess. So if that bothers you, don't watch the videos. Just save yourself some time. Save me some nasty comments. Just, skip these. And of course, I will put up more Cataclysm content as we go. You don't have to watch this particular set of videos. And then finally, I want to say that if you're someone who is in an abusive situation, if someone is hurting you, you don't have to stay. Tell somebody. If you're a kid, tell your teacher, tell your guidance counselor, tell somebody. If it's your partner, get out. I promise that although that will be difficult, it will be better in the long term. It can be better than what you're experiencing. People like I did dwell in the horrible situation and they forget that there is something past that. And life can be better. But anyway, I feel like maybe I shouldn't even put this in, but whatever. We're gonna go to the video now. I felt obligated to say it's not always gonna be like this, and there are people that will help you if you reach out and you try to escape that situation. So maybe this isn't my place. I'm just gonna jump. Let's jump into the video. Hello, internet. Welcome back to our Apartment Rat series. Just boiled up some water. We're gonna continue working on tools in this episode. Maybe I'll tell you some stories or something to make it a little bit more interesting. Because last episode I tried to express my gratitude for the influx of viewers and subscriptions, and I got pretty rambly and nonsensical, a little nonsensical. Because I don't express myself very well, despite being a writer. You would think being a writer means that you are capable of expressing yourself super well, which is mostly true in text. Like sometimes... So I'm pretty active on the Cataclysm forums. I check in multiple times a day because I'm at the computer basically all day when I'm not at work. So, it's nice to check in. I like to answer questions when people have questions about modding or whatever. I try to involve myself, in the conversation. And firefighter zombie spotted. Yeah, I think we want to find and kill the firefighter. Where are you? Way up north. We're going to go up there, because it could have some pretty good armor items on it, which will most likely be very damaged. Quite a lot out here, actually. I think we saw 4 just in the last couple seconds. I don't know if maybe they're chasing an animal. 6 total. Let's look around. Brainless, fat zombie, tough zombie, regular zombie, firefighter. Okay. And I don't know if they're color coded. I noticed these are green and this one is like a yellowish color, and the tough zombie is also kind of a yellowish green, red, I guess, reddish green, reddish yellow, not reddish green. But we will allow them to see us and we'll try to clear them out. We do have the nail bat wielded. We'll let them come over here. This one shot, he must have been pretty damaged already. Oh, and he was revived, so we don't even know. We don't even get gear off of it. Where would you have died? Where's your pile of crap? sir or madam. Still think that they should split every single zombie variant into a male and female version so that you could quickly look and say, oh, this is a male or female. Obviously, that doesn't have a lot of purpose for the average person, but for a YouTuber, it make it a lot easier than me constantly saying he and then being like, oh, but it could be a woman or she or they. You know, I should just say they. But another Remington. They don't seem to be... I guess they noticed us. That tough zombie can smash up the car. Oh, no, he freed himself. Or herself. Or their self. Anyway. Yeah, you would think being a writer means you express yourself well. And I go to the forums sometimes and I look at things that I've posted, you know, or I do post something and I think like, man, that's pretty concise and perfectly rational and you don't sound like an idiot. And then I do YouTube and I watch a video and I'm like, man, you sound dumb. It's like I really do express myself better on paper, which is not helpful when you're talking to someone. Zombie spotted. I literally was just... Okay. Well, we're going to ignore that. It maybe can see us through the building and we'll come over here, but I'm not worried about it. Zombie spotted. Nah. Is this even work? Okay. So I guess, yeah, we have an anvil. Pick that up. We are overburdened. Of course, we are carrying an anvil. So let's look at... I think that's the basic tools that we needed. We'll probably need tongs and things for most tools. But I'm willing to bet we can make the iron shod quarterstaff. No, we can't. Oh, we do need tongs for that. We also need a quarterstaff. I didn't look at the quarterstaff. What does that take? Leather patches. Not a big deal. There's tons of leather in this building alone. So we will be able to make that. Why don't we work on the tongs to get the tongs out of the way? Because we're going to need them for multiple crafts anyway. Pipes, chunks of steel, or lumps of steel. Let's see if we can grab a lump of steel from here. I don't know if this drops lumps of steel. No. So we'll go chunks of steel because I think that was the other smallest number requirement. Is there anywhere else we can get that from this little pipe thing? Chunk of steel. Yeah. So there's not much going on in my life. Door hinge. Well, that's new. Metal hinge with 2 metal plates with screw holes. Yep, that's a hinge, alright. So that's new. Never seen door hinges before. I did see something about them on the GitHub, but I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it. I think that's all we needed. Tong. Metal tongs, yep. Okay, so we can make the tongs. Nice and easy. Tong. Oh, we apparently had enough scrap metal nearby anyway, so that's a bit silly that we wasted that time. That's okay. Spotted, nope. So yeah, not much happens in my life on a day-to-day basis, so there's not always a ton for me to talk about. I did have a weird experience at work. There was, so at my work, basically I work on my own. At the very beginning of the workday, I go to my job and there are many people there, but then I leave and I go about my own business for the next couple of hours. And I work 7 days a week, just a couple hours a day, 3 to 5 hours a day. And I was at work and I had to wait around because they weren't ready. So I was standing around and there's this guy at my work who likes to talk to me, but I don't like him. He's deeply racist and it really bothers me. What am I doing? I'm just standing around. So what do we want to make? So we need to make the quarterstaff, which we'll go upstairs and we'll get... What? Oh, I typed iron instead of quarterstaff. So we'll go upstairs and we'll grab some leather patches. Or maybe we'll look around down here and see if there's any leather around. That way we don't have to butcher any of the clothes we've already gathered. Not seeing anything. So I don't love talking to this guy because he's a racist. And he's unabashedly racist. Like he comes up, He's always talking about how great Donald Trump is and how he's going to like ruin Mexico, basically. Which, my opinion on Trump is not particularly kind. We never did clear this apartment. Why don't we? They're probably gone at this point. They probably wandered out. So we'll loot the apartment since we're here. My opinion of Trump is that I don't agree with many of his decisions, but ultimately he is the president, and whether he treats people like, I'm not a fan of how he treats people. I'm not a fan of how he talks about his peers and calls people stupid and basically says really offensive things pretty much on a daily basis. Really bothers me because I don't think you should conduct yourself that way when you're the president of the United States. However, he is the president of the United States, and because of that, I owe some amount of respect to that station. So, not a big fan, but I'm, respectful of his position. We will just go upstairs and grab some patches. And he comes over and, it's just, he hates Hispanic people, this guy at my work. I don't fully understand it. I know that his son is on heroin and he is angry at Hispanics because his son is on heroin and his son's dealer is a Mexican kid. And so he blames the Mexican kid for his son being on heroin. And we're not going to have a conversation about personal accountability because I think it would come out judgmental, and it's not meant to be. Like, I'm not going to say, like, oh, well, I'm not saying you're a bad person because you got addicted to heroin. I'm not saying, people don't struggle and things. I am saying that there is a certain amount of personal responsibility that needs to be taken when you do things like that. Yes, it is addictive. Yes, it is a hard thing. But ultimately, you have made that decision yourself. You can't say, oh, well, if this Mexican guy hadn't done this, my son wouldn't be on heroin. Well, no, your son made his own choices. He's in his 30s. It's not like, nobody forced it down his throat. It was a decision that he made at some point in his life. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. So anyway, he is an angry man who does not like Mexicans, specifically Mexicans. And I don't like to hear that. I come from a multiracial family. I don't like hearing about people's racism. People assume that just because I'm white, I'm on their side. Like, this guy thinks like, oh, I can talk to him because he's white. He knows what I'm talking about. And it's like, no, just so we're famished. I thought famished meant you had a calorie deficit. I see our weight has dropped to normal, so we must have been right on the bounds of normal and overweight. So we will eat some more. I was going to starve ourselves a little bit, but we are famished, so I think we'll eat. So we made the quarterstaff. We might have time to make the iron shod quarterstaff. We need scrap metal. Didn't we just have a ton of scrap metal nearby when we tried to craft? Scrap metal. So I don't respond well. Missing components. What? Yeah? What is happening? No? I don't... Where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. We're gonna move it to this one. I don't understand what happened here. Missing components. Well, I just had components, I thought. Whatever, we'll go pick up some scrap metal. So this guy comes over and he's talking to me about his racism, and I'm listening politely because I'm not gonna, give him a lecture on treating people with respect and how, Hispanic people... Why is this not working? Hispanic people are, no different from any other group of people. They're just people. There's no reason to alienate them and think terrible things about them when they are just people. So we got the iron shod quarterstaff, which is marginally better than our nail bat, and also has a slew of combat abilities. Again, it's entirely blunt damage, which is a little bit of a concern but I wanted a playthrough where we're not using the spears all the time, so I think this is probably as good as it's going to get until we find a forge book. I don't know if there are maces or flails or morning stars or whatever craftable recipes. I've seen a morning star in the game, but it was always the crappy version. I've never seen a real one, so presumably that's in the game, and we'll work up to that eventually. But for now, I think this is great. It has the rapid strike ability as well as the sweep attack ability, and it has a very high block chance. So pretty happy with that. We'll probably call it a day there. I could swear it was just 5 p.m. when I last looked at this, but maybe military time is messing with my brain. What else did we want to make with the forge now that we've got the forge up and running? One of my big peeves is that there's no real armor crafting. Like I can't, despite having scrap metal and whatever, I can't make like a chest plate. I can make a leather vest. Oh boy. Book plate. I can make book plate, but I can't hammer some metal into a vague shape of a. So there's a scrap cuirass. Cuirass made from scraps of metal secured by simple strings. Loose collection of plates provide decent but not the most convenient protection. It does have really high protection values. The encumbrance is a little crazy though, because it's our current total encumbrance from just the leather jacket and t-shirt. Oh, and backpack. So it would bump our encumbrance quite a lot actually. So I don't know that that's really what we want anyway. So we're not going to worry about that. So anyway, this guy is being a racist next to me, and I don't like it. But I'm polite, so I'm standing there, and I'm half listening to him. Because I'm always torn between being rude. Like I don't know what being rude is with normal human beings, so I just think, oh, well, just smile and just keep listening to their nonsense, and it'll be fine. Did we eat both of those bacons? I guess we did. Do we have any other meat products? Meat just has so many calories. I mean, so do apparently fast noodles. I suppose we could make some noodles. Noodle. Oops, that's a bracket. That's not right. Boiled noodles. Obviously variable calories depending on the noodle. Yeah, we'll make a fast noodle. And we'll use the dirty water. Put the boiled noodles on the counter. Okay. Still hungry? Not going to worry about that. I guess we'll read until we lose the light. Trying to read up some of these books. We were reading cooking. So I'm listening politely. And there's this girl who is new to my work. I've only seen her a couple times. And she walks over to us, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because she's around my age. She's attractive. She has she had dyed purple hair, which purple is my favorite color. And I liked her hairstyle. And I was like, oh, you should pay her a compliment at some point. And she came over to us, and I was like, oh, I'm actually going to talk to someone, and I'm actually going to participate in a conversation that isn't about racism. We're famished again. We literally just ate like 500 or 600 calories, though. That was like 4 hours ago. I mean, I guess we eat something else. Maybe I should start pushing out into the nearby houses to try and find a little bit more perishable food. For now, I think we'll just eat some garbage. We do have potato chips that if we don't eat over time, we will eventually have them go bad before we can eat them all. We'll just eat a sausage, I guess, and a couple chips. I feel like that's plenty of calories, though, considering we were overweight pretty recently. We still can't sleep. Okay. Maybe we'll poke out and we'll go to a nearby house or something. So this girl comes over, and she's got the dyed hair, and she's quite attractive. And I don't have much opportunity to speak to attractive women in my life these days. Check this house out. So I was a little interested in talking to her. And she comes over, and she never looks at me. I'm very aware of eye contact because I have some anxiety and things, so I pay a lot of attention to people's eye contact. She doesn't look at me. She never addresses me. She never speaks to me. But she starts talking to this old racist white man. And, yep, I stood there right next to them for several minutes while she told him about her her dogs, and I work here with my ex-boyfriend. We still live together because life is hard and I can't really afford to live on my own. And she's telling him all this stuff, and the whole time I was just like, oh, we could totally be friends. Like, we actually have some things in common. It seems like she has some of the same struggles that I have. And they talk for several minutes, and she never once looks at me, never tries to engage me. And part of that is my problem, okay? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, she didn't talk to me. I also did not push to be a part of that conversation. I just stood there awkwardly, like I always do, because of my general paranoia and anxiety. So I'm not, like, putting all the blame on her and being like, oh, she should have talked to me. But it was really kind of hurtful to just stand there while people, I don't know, it bummed me out. Is this webbing, or is this just some kind of rock, thick webs? So we're gonna bail and we're gonna run away, because the last time we found thick webs, it killed our mall. No, that was our school character. So we are not gonna go there. In fact, we're gonna mark this as a spider basement. No, go away, auto note. Spider basement. We're gonna go check this house instead. So, very pretty. She said she was, I think, 34, which is age appropriate. It's really hard for me to meet people my own age, or people in my, particularly females. It's hard to meet women around my age. It seems like every time I meet someone, they are either 20 or 60, which, like, no disrespect to 20-year-olds, but I am not a 20-year-old, and I have this very old man mentality. So I don't have a lot in common. No, I don't want to go to the club. I just want to sit and watch a movie at home, No, I don't want to go out to a nice restaurant. I kind of just was going to cook and sit around the house. So there's thick smoke here. I don't know if this basement is on fire. Smokage. It says smokage. I don't know that there's a fire basement. I guess... Oh, it's a smoker downstairs. Okay, let them come up to us. Let them... Are they not... They're not going to come upstairs? Did you not see me when I popped down? So we don't have, like, a proper mouth filter or anything. So we really don't want to... Do we just want to go down and not care? It's dangerous. We're just going to do it because I don't care. Is there smoke? There you go. Okay. Let's see if we can move this so we can get out of the smoke. This is one of those vaguely prepper basements. I'm not really sure what all you can find here, but I know that there is some good stuff around. I'm wondering if there's 2 smokers. We're going to give this a little bit to dissipate. So she was like, attractive, and she's like age appropriate, and I think because our leather pants are so damaged, we're just going to swap them out for the cargo pants. At this point, because the leather is so damaged, it has the same protection values as the cargo pants. So if we look, it's 2 and 2. Cargo pants are 2 and 2, and they have better storage, obviously. Tank top I could care less about. We're going to leave that stuff. And she didn't talk to me, and I didn't force myself to talk to her, but she seemed really nice. And again, attractive. Can't overstate that enough. Because it's not uncommon that I'm attracted to females. Because I am. I'm, well, actually, that makes it sound like I'm attracted to males. But no, it's not that I'm not attracted to people. It's just that it's pretty rare that I genuinely find someone, like, super attractive. And she was that. And then we were leaving, and she went over to her vehicle, and she got in a car with apparently her ex-boyfriend, because she had mentioned that in a conversation that she was with her ex to come to work and everything. She gets in the car, and I go off and I get in my car and I'm getting ready to leave to go to work, and I hear people screaming, and I'm like, oh, okay, and that alerts me immediately because that's a very gut reaction to other humans in distress. So I hear someone like screaming at the top of their lungs, and I realize that it's the man in her car is screaming in her face. Where'd you come from, brainless zombie? He's just screaming at her, and like I can't hear what they're saying, but he's like really laying into her verbally, and I don't know why. I don't know what could possibly have happened that would have justified him screaming at her like that. So my immediate instinct is that nothing happened and that he is just an asshole. And that really upset me, that this pretty nice, kind of lovely girl who's, young and attractive and seemed real nice is willingly in a vehicle with a guy who's screaming at her face, and like, it's weird. Maybe this doesn't make sense to you, but like when I was a kid, that was my mom, that was my life as a kid, was being verbally and physically abused. And I can't say that he hit her or anything, because if I saw him hit her, I would have dragged him out of his car and probably hurt him, because I have impulse control issues and because I'm hypersensitive to people being abused. So I don't know that that's what was happening. I just heard screaming. But it really put me in a sour mood, because she seemed real nice, and people don't deserve to be treated that way. And yeah, really unpleasant. And I don't know how to process that. I don't know what the right human reaction is. Like I said, my instinct is to go over there and be like, yeah, you should stop screaming at her, or, I'm going to peel the soles of your feet off and then make you walk around. And it's like, you can't say that to people, and I don't think people take threats very seriously anyway. So it's like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? What's the right thing to do? What's the acceptable thing to do? This is my job, am I going to get in trouble with work? Like, I just don't know. I just don't know the proper reaction to things like that. Maybe I shouldn't even mention that, because I'm not the only one who's really sensitive to matters of abuse and things. I don't know, it's like the only thing that's really happened to me in the last week, or the only thing that really got my ire up, or however you want to say that. I don't know. Maybe I know I keep saying in these videos, like, oh, I'm just rambling, and people are like, I like your rambles. But every time I get off on a tangent, I feel like, oh, you should just shut up. Even though you're making a video and you need to talk to make a video. Anyway, I think we're going to call the episode here. Hope you enjoyed, for whatever. I don't know why you would, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be back with more Cataclysm tomorrow and every day of the week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.